This is the first time in 10 years. Oh my God. That's like, that was before Mike. That was, wow, that was.
Okay, you're all set, Sean, whenever you're ready.
All right, you're gonna have to do 5 factors. You have to put them down.
No, yeah, there's a list in your packet. The third page. Yep.
Wow. Okay, I'd like to call, are we on? We live?
You're live.
Okay. Do motion from. Vote. Aye. Okay. All right, so the first one we're gonna do is do we have any village board updates?
No village board updates. And I apologize that the minutes are not completed. It's a long, sad story, but they're not completed. The updates is that Gary Singleton, the applicant from Lincoln Place, withdrew his application. He's downsizing the house to not need the variance, and he's back in front of the planning board. And we also have a new appointed member, Dustin Leibowitz. Is it Leibowitz or Leibowitz? Leibowitz, okay. Noah has resigned the full membership, and she is now an alternate member, and along with Anthony. So we now have a full complement of 5 board members and 2 alternates.
First time that's happened.
Okay, that's all I have.
The next thing we're going to talk about is the decision. A motion to vote on the decision of where to prepared on 147 and 158 North Pleasant Street. We have a roll call on that. Yeah, we'll do a roll call. Yeah.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay, a motion by Cody, second by Rob. Roll call vote, Rob? Cody? Dustin?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Okay. You are all set, and Sean, I'll get you to sign this before you leave.
Okay.
You're done.
Appreciate it. Good night, thanks.
Okay, so I'm now going to motion to open the public hearing for Brent Smith on 16th Street. Oh, aye. Okay, cool. All right. So is anyone here to speak about 16 Prospect Street?
There are 2 people online if there's nobody in person.
That might be Carol. Carol, you can go if you're there.
Carol's one of them.
Yeah, Carol and Charles, well, that's Buddy.
Okay. No one's here for that? All right, great. So I motion to close the public hearing. Motion. Second. Vote. Aye. Okay, cool. All right, so this is the, did you watch the meeting last time? Dustin? Okay, all right, so, this is, for Minty. He is, you want to say anything, Minty, before we talk about this?
No, yeah, just summarized it last time. This is a project that was working on. We did our driveway, we changed our driveway from asphalt to gravel, and the goal was to try to become compliant with the previous services on our property. My wife's got a master's in water resource management. We try to do the best we can to do that. We like to look at it. Anyway, when we did that, we lost our hearts to play on. Like they could play in the street, but I don't know if you have been on Prospect Street, but I talked to a landscaper and they are thinking about putting like a sport court there. And so we drew it up, so it's 25 by 25 foot. And we asked him like, if we need to do anything to like get this approved by the village or anything, like, no, it should be fine. Like, sure, he's like, yeah, do this all the time, like, okay. But come to find out that it's bad in the future. So we're looking for variance. It's a basketball court. But I'm the basketball coach in the community and soccer coach. But I had some of my kids over and done some clinics for like other coaches and other kids and stuff like that. So really just a player, the kids, safe spot. All the neighbors are really supportive of it. They doesn't say it changes really the character of the neighborhood at all. And that probably enhances it's not because there's a safe spot for this place. So that's why I'm asking for the variance.
Okay. Have you guys seen?
Yeah,
It's pretty.
I mean, the only I was wondering, see anything else in separate to it, it's just, is there any way to add like, if the applicant sells the property, some, sell the property and the new owner would reapply for this? I mean, just the idea that they did this, I totally understand what they did, but the idea that the variance would carry over to somebody new can, we can stipulate that if he sells the property, if they sell the property, somebody else.
Yeah. The lawyers, no, we've already.
That's why I keep the strategy to be here for everyone. Even probably the fact that if someone bought that applicant and did something still fell underneath the, I forget the word.
That's right.
Right.
No, you can put conditions, I don't wanna interrupt, but
Yes.
you can put conditions on your approval so that it's just really for this and not for, couldn't be expanded to other things in the future.
Yeah, I guess just, he specifically, I don't know if you've seen it or not, he specifically put in some effort to make it not like stand out in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
And all I'm saying is if we pass this, then that we could keep the court there and alter those things and still be within our limits.
well, I think that's a really good point, and that's why you should be thinking about not just this applicant who might have great intentions, but what the next.
So
group
could
might
a
do.
condition be that it has to be a basketball court and,
Yeah.
and not?
But it's only for this project, this basketball.
Yeah.
and not-
And be changed into something else.
Yeah.
You could also add a condition about the screening, the trees that he's added, that they must remain. The trees that he's put there as a border between himself and the neighbors. They saw it last month, but
Would that bother you at all?
I personally. I don't know if this is necessary to tie into it, but I personally would not hate to even see a little bit of landscape on the street side of that matter in the same situation because it's. But I don't think it's really the right. So, yeah, it looks like it's like
It's like a home.
yeah, it's like a rubber.
It's like a tile, it's like a tile, it's kind of, composite, plastic tile that has some give.
And to be honest, it does stand out in the winter,
Right.
because the grass is not green,
Spot.
you know. Yeah, it's basically like right here. So I'm just.
Oh, you don't see it.
Oh, yeah, so yeah, it's where, so this picture is taken from the street, so it's where the skate sphere is.
He does have, he did put in some plants in front of it on the, right next to the curb.
This side though, right? Like the back of it. These guys, this is the street.
No, there's also. You can't really see it, but it's right,
Yeah.
so. Where, so here. Right in this line right here, next to the sidewalk, there's these trees are now planted there too, so eventually that will be.
Probably must be, you know.
They're not.
Oh, okay.
They're tall.
So he's.
That would already be like a little bit of a barrier.
Yeah,
So he's
like I was saying, that as a person that drives by it every multiple times a day. I don't know if it's enough to where I feel compelled to like tie it to anything, but that's the only thing I would say that continuing that.
So we can write this as just basically like what he has now is okay and can't do anything else.
Yeah,
Is there a wording for that or?
yeah, I mean, so give me the words, you want it to continue to be a basketball court with this type of material?
This kind of material?
Well, it's being used as basketball and soccer, so I don't know if you want to limit it. Yeah.
It can't be made any bigger. Well, it could be made any bigger anyway, right? If you want to make it bigger, that.
Well, technically, yeah,
Yeah.
they can make the sides of it bigger, but not for the 4.5 feet.
Yeah, I mean, he's right on the bench though, so there's no really way.
Wings.
I don't think we could do it even because of where it is, the setback, you'd have to get another variance.
Also in this situation, you got like, it's done.
Yeah, yes, well, we know what it looks like. That's true. Yeah, that's, yeah.
Well, because it's.
So I thought, so,
You could.
So that's pretty-
Do more.
Well, but if you pronounce it this, if you pronounce it this point, you wouldn't need.
he's not gonna be able to build on this.
So I guess my thing is saying that if someone else were to move in and then be like, oh, I want a 4-pad with a small set of bleachers on,
Mhm.
like they could do it here. So the expansion of that pad's current dimensions would be what I would want to lock in, not
Yeah.
necessarily just the part to the variance. Does that makes sense?
Yeah, I think I'm so interested.
Because I-
You could word it as no new additions to,
Tied to,
yeah.
just because that's my only thought process is that you could expand that.
We just like can't improve upon it in any way, right?
Well,
That-
so my concern is that someone could expand that without needing a variance.
No, I don't think so, because it's in the side yard setback.
Yeah.
So
Right.
when you're granting the variance, you're granting the variance for what exists right now.
Yeah, so my point is that, so the side yard setback is the 4.5 feet.
No, the 4.5 feet is what is, the 4.5 feet is where it is right now. According to the code, which is the bottom, it can't be any closer than 20 feet to the lot line.
Right, so
So
there's only 5
Right.
feet of-
the 4.5 feet is what he's proposing and, from the lot line. And the code says may not be constructed in the front or side yards of such lot. So, but they also may not, in addition, they may not be closer than 20 feet to any lot line, which exceeds the, side yard setback, I believe. I think the side yard setback for the R2 is, I'd have to look it up. I don't remember off the top of my head, but
Yeah, it would be such a weird, because the bill, you could almost put it like right here.
Right, but anything on that side is going to be in violation of code.
right.
Yeah.
So can we just say that it would be only for a sport court with this material and can't be enlarged beyond correct dimensions?
Yeah.
Or that's in kind situation. And I mean, I think we kind of all agree that this isn't necessarily an effect until someone else. If that's to protect
Yeah.
the future of the property.
Okay, all right, so we'll go through the 5 factors. Will the variance change neighborhood? Yeah. Yeah, other alternatives which do not require variance.
So what did you say?
We said no,
No,
okay. Are there alternatives that do not require variance? They would all require them to rip up what these were here.
Well, now the rejection of the variance would require construction of the.
Porch, so yeah, so. Not good alternatives. Do we want to talk about that or?
Because this is retro, I don't have a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit why it kind of makes me because I probably would have things to say about it, but it's already there, it's already.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of have to review it as if it's not there and you're giving him permission to keep it there. You need to sort of think of it as that way as opposed to it's there and we're taking it away from him. You think of it as you're giving permission for it to remain. It's the same thing, but different.
The cool fact is that I.
Well, I guess the question is, are there alternatives? So if it weren't already there, would there be an alternative?
No, I mean, I'm looking at this. This sort of property there, no, there's no other place that you can put that.
The alternative is to pave over
Drive.
the permeable surfaces on it. So it'd be like. Which should not be.
Or have like that equal amount in front of the barn.
What's I'm saying is you pay in order to do that,
They've
they're
already undone.
supposed to be paid over, you have to cover that permanent surface up.
Is the area variance requested substantial? So he's asking for.
He's essentially asking for a 15.5 foot variance. It's at 4.5 and he's supposed to be 20.
And the side yard area is off 10.
Yes,
So yes, it's.
yes, it's substantial. Will there be an effect on the physical or environmental condition in the neighborhood or district? Not really.
That one, I don't think so.
Yeah, the house on this, the house next to here is really oddly placed. It's in like, it's in the opposite corner. It's like a strange,
And the current tenant has
yes,
spoken
in front of it.
in agreement with him.
Yeah, either the hunter doesn't care. So, and it's just it's a weird, well, where the house sits is just odd. If it was here, it would be really
Certainly,
disturbing,
no problem.
but it's not really that bad. Is the situation self-created?
That one,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah.
In fact, kind of unfortunately double it because there was a hard surface to play on. And then there wasn't a hard surface because of a decision that was made and then brought about another hard surface
Yeah.
to.
Is this has a concrete under it? Or is it?
Yeah, the kind of pictures before the surfacing.
Is it like an orange pad? Yeah.
I mean, I know you guys have done this before, but 5 factors, none of them means,
Right.
this, then you get to decide based on those. Whether the benefit to the applicant outweighs the detriment to the neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm not saying this being a problem today, but.
Yeah, neither am I. I said the only thing that's got me a little held up is I'm pretty positive that I would have been against the property as a option because of the option of the equal amount of concrete left in the driveway
Mhm.
at the head of the garage would have served the same function.
Yeah,
But it's tough because I also don't think it has a negative impact on the community.
Yeah.
So this is one of those situations where I'm a little bit torn.
it's in this picture that shows it. It's not here.
Yeah.
You can close by, driven past it, you don't really, it's not like.
No, you definitely see it from the road.
Okay, so it's like, so that's something you have to like maintain some kind of.
Well, it's a fixed surface now. It's gonna look like that for years to come.
Yeah. But would it be appropriate to have to like maintain those arborvitaes, what if they die, like how's that?
Right. And that's what we need to take into consideration.
Yeah.
The one thing he's pointing out is the house of this property is and oddly, it's positioned oddly far away from the property line, like that's the road. It's over half of the way, like the side of the house is over half the way across the property for one reason.
And that's a neighbor tenant that said they don't have an issue.
Yeah, if you look at this, like, this house is being on, like the house is on sheet.
Okay,
You
but from the road, when you pass it, that's where it becomes,
see it from the road. But it's also gone out of the way, attractive and professional. So those are all considerations, yeah.
So if you want to impose conditions, we should just list what they are. So the one is that it must remain as constructed, or however David chooses to word it.
Must remain as it is.
Yeah, and then the landscaping.
Or rule of law.
See that, so that's trying to to the north.
what happens if they.
It has to be, it can be replaced. Yeah, Yeah.
That reminds me heavily of a situation where we're like, we put that little nuance there, but the act of enforcing it.
well, if someone complains, it's the code enforcement office can, that if it's in the decision, the code enforcement officer can go to the person and say, that tree was on the plan, it died, you need to replace it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but if it is a problem, all the things get cleared out and it's noisy and the house moves or something like that, I think there would be some.
Or someone else moves in. and-
Yeah. Without it, the village would have no recourse, but with it, we at least have the recourse if we get a complaint or if we notice. You know,
Require them to-
we can go back and say, hey, you know, that tree died, or you cut, that tree fell over and you didn't replace it, you need to replace it.
And again, in the condition you put on, so let's say, for example, homeowner, yeah, here, you know, 10 years from now, decides I'm gonna scrape this board, I'm not gonna use this anymore, my kids are in college and ripping it up. Can there be a condition that if any alterations are made to this or it's removed, you know, anything new has to be approved, a variance has to, they have to come before us for another variance, or, because this was done in, we're doing this retroactively. Is there, are we able to lay a condition like that?
Yeah, I just wanna make sure I understand, so like,
I do.
it's so I'm just thinking like 5 years from now, maybe this material needs.
It's not, I'm not talking about the solid material, but it's cement underneath, so let's
Not
say,
being
right, if they're not, well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if the homeowner, whether it be current or a new
Yeah.
homeowner decides to rip up the cement,
Yeah.
completely rip it all out, and, well, you know, I don't think the shed would be permitted, right, because that's not.
Right, well, the variance you're granting is for a sport court,
So it wouldn't.
so you can't put something different
But
there.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, rip it out completely,
You can rip it out and plant grass, and that's fine,
that's fine.
because it's not a structure.
Right, they say then-
Yes. Once it's removed,
And.
It's exhausted.
And talk to that if this is altered away from its current existence, that it voids, like that it voids
Then it expires.
that it
expires. Yep,
I think so, yeah.
you can make that a condition if the sport court, the way I would word it is if the sport court is removed, the variance expires.
I would feel better about that.
No,
That's reasonable.
I'm just trying to picture this physical thing, so it's concrete and then.
You want to see a picture there?
Yes. Right.
So what it looks like now.
Yeah, but what if, you know, the kids get older or different families and they just wanna take the sport court surface off of it and just use that pad for. a picnic or something, I mean, you'd be okay with that, it's just, the whole thing is. Well,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking at the surface material, looking at the surface material as, you know, being permanent in that it's not, at some point it's gonna wear out.
Right.
Livability is much more limited than
You-
a concrete pad.
Yes.
You could word it as if the sport court and concrete pad are removed. That may be a way to do it.
I guess in a lot of ways, if it stopped functioning as a sport court though.
you'd want it taken out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like its reason here and a lot of the reasons he gave. For community, you know, currently for a community asset, like that kind of, obviously. If that goes away, it's a concrete pad where it stacks firewood.
so you're looking for it to be, if the sport court use is discontinued, then the site must be restored to grass?
More removed. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just thinking. out.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, restored to the
Does that
original.
make sense to you?
It makes sense to me.
I do think that it might be unnecessarily complicated, but a part of me says just to cover.
No, I think it makes it clear.
I think it also is good too, because if it is, then it doesn't become 2 additional parking spots.
Right,
Which is not what it's.
Good.
Right.
Very good point.
And which one to know your neighbors, because no one cares that it's a basketball court, because it looks good, but it's 2 cars parked right on
I'm
your
picturing,
property.
I'm picturing things people use their parking lot for, like,
Yes.
you have like a stack of firewood and throw like a fire ring on there and got yourself a little patio area. Like this isn't a patio, like a patio, it's not, that's a very good one,
Yeah.
it's not a parking spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's-
Which I think works nicely because that is what the current person wants you to.
Is there a site plan for this site? Should these notes be?
It's that plan right there. We accepted that plan.
So will the variance will be added to the file, so if
The variance to be added to the file with that drawing there, which is the survey drawing with the hand sketch. Yeah,
I think that tidies it up and makes it clear that we are cool with the way it is, but.
Emily, it's still to be determined if this goes to the planning board for site plan or not. Alex is still figuring that out.
yeah, I just wanted to make sure. these
Yeah.
notes-
Yeah, but the variance decision will be attached in the file.
all right. So, any other things that I want to add? No, that was good. Okay, so you know.
So we have to make a motion to have the.
Yes.
Yes.
So I put a motion forward to have the attorney write up our decision.
Second?
Vote. Okay, unanimous, perfect. Okay, I think we're done. We're good, okay, so I motion to, Sam, did you have something to talk about?
No.
Oh, okay, just hang out on this. Well, you picked a really easy one, Sam. All right, so I motion to close the meeting.
Motion.
Second. Vote. Meeting's closed. Awesome. Yeah, second.